Hey now, gonna try something I haven't done in a very long time. The Justice is Coming podcast slash, from the looks of this, ransom request video, I guess. It's a very unique situation this week. Chargers playing a 1 o'clock kickoff. My daughter Sarah will turn 7 o'clock on Monday, so I'm not really able to put together a full written post. And there have been a couple requests for something along the lines of this. Probably not quite this creepy, but I just woke up, which is so rare on a Saturday, especially with kids. But my wife was nice enough to let me try to sleep in a little bit. So excuse the bags under the eyes. Anyways, Chargers huge win on Monday night. I gotta say. I was not expecting it, although I did jokingly say the Chargers would win against Indianapolis and lose against Jacksonville just because, well, because of the Chargers. Hopefully that won't happen. Again, I could sit here and just toss all these platitudes out there about how the Jacksonville Jaguars are paid to play and they're professional, blah blah. I have no idea if they're as bad as their record indicates. I do know that it's a game the Chargers should win, and I know that thus far these are games the Chargers have not won. If you look at it, I guess Kevin Acee put out that their strength of victory is the highest in the NFL. I think that's what I read. I mean, they beat Dallas, they beat the Eagles, and they beat the Colts, and those are all first-place teams or teams that are tied for first. Dallas and Philly are playing this weekend. So, they've won the games that they weren't supposed to. Unfortunately, they've also lost the games that they were supposed to win, which is very Chargers. And going into the season, I guess that is what at least friends of mine here back east told me that I should try to do, which is just enjoy the ride, because this probably wasn't going to be a Super Bowl season or even a playoff season, but that let's enjoy the games that they win that you're not expecting. Unfortunately, right out of the box, they ended up losing a game that I didn't expect them to win, that then I suddenly did expect them to win. And now, if you look at the Houston Texans, we probably should have won. Wait 1 second, just going to have a little coffee. Got to get yourself one of these, by the way, if you haven't. I think they stopped making them in like the mid-90s, which doesn't say much for the sanitary conditions of that cup. But Monday night was a huge win, like I said. Donald Butler out. He's going to be out again tomorrow. I'm starting to wonder, well, one, his durability, and then two, the possibility of re-signing that guy to a long-term deal, because they play pretty well with him out, and he hasn't played that well when he was in. I know, he has a groin pull, and I know he has been an excellent player the last couple of years, but my concern with this team is guys like Legion and Reyes, who did play well on Monday night. There's a difference between being a good player when the team really needs it and the games, ultimately, hopefully mean something, and then, Kendall Reyes, racking up all those huge sacks last year against the Jets in a meaningless game that I was actually at. His sack Monday night was huge into the spot that it was in. I don't know if it was one of those, Pagano schemes that ended up working, which, John Pagano, for all the crap that people have given him, and I don't know if you saw that, I guess after, what was it, the Tennessee game, somebody wrote that the Ron Pagano should get cancer to Kevin Acee, who, of course, called the guy out, and rightfully so, although I hate when people get on their high horse about that. Obviously, that's something that's ridiculous, but, don't get all preachy about how, I don't know, one of my pet peeves. Anyways, much like having this giant bag under my eye. I'm a little worried that Donald Butler may not be the player that, ultimately he's asking for in money, but again, this is a long-term concern. As for tomorrow, Butler will be out, I believe. I think Reinhardt's going to be out, and I forget who else. It was one other person. Can't remember. Anyways, I think Jared Johnson's coming back. Pagano, as I was saying, got to give the guy credit. I don't know what some of those looks were. I think, was it Bolt Beat or Bolts from the Blue called it the Lucky Clover. On Monday night, they called it the Confusion look. I believe John Gruden did, although John Gruden also said something along the lines of the Chargers are only blitzing when they're blitzing, or they're only getting pressure when they're getting pressure. I think that was the one. But it worked. I don't think it was necessarily them not knowing where to go. I think it was them trying to disguise their looks, which, what little I know about defense is what you want to do. You don't want them to know exactly what you're up to. What else? Sorry for moving the camera there. I don't know anything about Jacksonville. I know Chad Henne's better than Blaine Gabbert. I think we last beat Chad Henne, what was it, 2010 when he played with Miami. It's a game the Chargers should win, but obviously we know anything can happen. So as I've always said about this team. The only thing that would surprise me about the San Diego Chargers is them winning the Super Bowl finally. Um, Ryan Matthews is getting a lot of accolades, as he should, for playing a smart game. Was it his biggest yardage game? No. Did it have his most explosive runs? No. But it had his toughest runs between the tackles. Again, like I mentioned with sacks, they were runs that we needed when we needed them, when we needed to milk the clock. Again, he hasn't really been trusted with the ball in those situations. They still don't trust him down near the 10-yard line, which, I would argue they should give him the ball. We are running at least down there now. I think that he's the only guy when you get to the actual 10 who can put it in. But Matthews still does dumb things. Yes, running out of bounds was extremely dumb, and I saw that, what was it, McCoy mentioned, Marion Barber. Obviously, we all remember when we were chasing the Tebows, Marion Barber playing for Dallas then. Was it Dallas or Chicago? I can't remember. Maybe Chicago. Ran out of bounds, and that ultimately led to the to the Tebows winning and winning the division. But we might still have Norv Turner if we hadn't had that happen. So nonetheless, you know what? I'm going to pause this. Wait 1 second and put a second video up if I need to. Now